Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Chapman's going to ask me a few different questions that he has come up with, and I'm just going to answer them and do it that way for this episode.
Alrighty, so first question I've got is, what is one hill that you'll die on that most people will disagree with?
Ooh, man, that's a good one. Off the top of my head, I would have to say that no matter what, whether it's business, relationships, anything, that there is a lot of power in just making sure that you're pushing your faith forward and it's all faith-based and really leaning into your faith to take on the challenge instead of thinking that you always have to figure it out yourself first. And I think a lot of people always want to just figure it out instead of pray or meditate on it first. But I'll die on the hill that no matter what, if you really put your faith first, everything will work out. Even though that situation in that moment might not work out the way you want it to, but it might be a month, a week, a year from then, you're going to look back and see how it worked out overall for your good. As long as you're really putting your faith first on it.
I know that's, to go on that question, isn't something that you've always necessarily done, but now do.
Yep.
Was it hard to make that transition, or did you kind of tell yourself, I'm doing this now and I'm going to start
I still struggle with it. I mean, I'm a lot better at it now to just stop and pray about the situation or pray about whatever's going on first before I react, but I still have times where something happens and boom, I want to just go full force with my own reaction or solve it myself or take care of it myself, as opposed to doing that first, as opposed to really just taking the time to, because I think that's something that is important. You still have to be able to, as a leader, whether it's your family or business, whatever, you still have to make decisions quickly. So I'm not saying you need to meditate on it or pray about it for a week before you make a decision. No, I'm just saying making sure that your intentions are right and your focus is where it needs to be before you make the decision. But you can still make quick decisions doing that. And I think that's still important being a business owner.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so going into your second question, if somebody followed you around for a week, what is a habit that would surprise them the most?
I think that probably the biggest surprising habit, if someone just followed me around, is, I'm gonna go two ways with it. I'm gonna go with a good habit and a bad habit.
Yep.
For me. So a good habit, I think, would be my morning routine and how I stick to it. So, it's just ingrained in me. It's a bottle of water. It's to prayer, to drinking the same V8 juice drink while I read the Bible, and that's my first anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour of my every morning. That's every single morning. I need that to be mentally where I need to be to attack the day with all the things that we have going on. So I just know how important that is. And then on the reverse side, it would be, I think, how often I grab my phone habitually, whether I even when I don't need to make a call or send a text. I can't sit still, so I just, boom, my habit is to grab my phone because I'm so used to my phone either going off with a text or a call, or there is something I could quickly knock off my list. And that's a habit I'm really trying to surrender and really trying to get a grip on, because it is such a hard one when so used to, for years and years and years, just being able to grab it, whether it's for, it might even be for a good reason. Oh, hey, I just remember I need to take care of this, but it's usually not that important. And I find myself doing it even if I'm just with Hill or the kids, or maybe even just trying to relax, because that's so important to just take 15 minutes to yourself and just unplug from any technology. So I think that that's the biggest one that people would be surprised, like how much I have to, how much I do interact with my phone. Yes, I have to a lot, but I definitely take it to the next level a lot of days, and I know that I'm trying to be more self-aware about it.
Yeah, something like that. I almost wonder if, if somebody were to watch you or somebody else with that bad habit, if they would notice, how bad it really is on themselves, or, if they were to
Yeah,
watch
and
themselves.
maybe
Like,
they would.
I'm probably the same way, when it comes to that. And that's just something
It's that
interesting.
whole, we live in a day and age where patience is low,
Oh, yeah.
and, you're looking for that quick fix of, well, I can just scroll on my phone real quick, or I can, whatever on my phone, because you have so much access to everything with that one little device. And I know that it's definitely the biggest issue that I'm dealing with on a day-to-day basis, and just really trying to get a hold of it, because at the end of the day, nobody needs to be accessible to the world 24/7.
No,
And
yeah.
there's nothing really that could just happen to where if a business was burning to the ground, they need to call the fire department first anyways. So
Yeah, they're not going to
yeah,
Google, how do I
I
stop
can't
this
go
fire?
put the fire
Right.
out anyways. So I'm gonna find out. So really working on that habit and being intentional about it. And everybody has those bad habits. And if you actually take the time to realize what they are, and like I said, a big thing I've been intentional about when I'm praying in the morning is just like intentionally surrendering that issue that I'm having, because I know that each day I can get just a hair better at it. And maybe in 6 months I'll even notice the difference myself, and whatnot.
Yeah. Okay, question number 3. If you had to start over tomorrow with no money, no connections, and only your knowledge, what would be the first thing that you'd do?
Well, if I had no money and all I had was my knowledge, at the end of the day, no matter what, first thing I would do is just get any sort of job. I wouldn't be picky at all. I would just get any sort of job to start making money, because at the end of the day, the key to even starting to build any sort of wealth is living below your means. So even if I had to just go get a minimum wage job, I'm going to go get the minimum wage job, and I'm going to work as much as they will let me, because of the knowledge I have. I could easily go into a restaurant and get a job, and go up in that company quickly to start making more money, because of the amount of value with my knowledge I can bring to any sort of company like that. Or if I wanted to go the real estate route, I could do the same thing because of my knowledge. So I would definitely just go into either restaurant or real estate, and then I would just live well below my means, which, yeah, it would be, maybe it would just be, it's not going to be the latest iPhone. It's not going to be the nicest vehicle or anything like that. I would literally find something that I could hopefully live close enough to just walk to not even pay for a vehicle, save that money until I could get just a, beater with a heater essentially, and really just focus on my strengths, which are, leading other people and good customer service, putting out good products, or on the real estate side, being personable and having those, and being able to build connections, and just find which fit would be better for me as far as the growth opportunities. But at the end of the day, I know on the horizon I'm going to work for myself. I would know that's my ambition. So I'm going to grind it out. I'm going to work as much as I can with as many hours as I can, and live as below my means as possible to save up as much money as I can, to be able to create myself an opportunity to open my own business, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's real estate, which for me it would definitely be the restaurant world. It would be, okay, once I save up enough money and I can go to a bank and get a loan and open my own pizza place, that's what I'm going to do, because I know what I can do to grow that, and that would be my segue into the other avenues such as real estate and things like that. But that's exactly what I would do. I would try and work. And honestly, once I got the main job, I would I would have multiple jobs, because at the end of the day, especially if I'm only worried about myself, if there was no family involved, I would try and work 70, 80 hours a week. So I wouldn't even be tempted to spend money. anywhere, doing anything.
Yeah.
It would strictly be work, save, and build to where I could open my own business and then take the risk myself. Because at the end of the day, if you want the bigger reward, you're going to have to take the big risk. You're going to have to risk to win 100% of the time. You're just going to have to. But you have to also be willing to put the work in. And I'm willing to put the work in. I know I can work the hours. I know that I can help the people and lead the people. So it would just be, that's exactly what I would do. Live below my means, get multiple jobs, and just, get myself to making the most money I could and saving to get the opportunity to open my own business because I already have the knowledge.
Okay, last question for you. What is something people make way too complicated?
Something people make way too complicated. I think they make leadership pretty complicated in general because there's a lot of books, there's a lot of material on it, and it can be complicated as you grow through companies and different levels. I'm not saying it can't be complicated, but at the end of the day, if you treat people with respect, if you yourself have character and integrity, and if you are always willing to do, if you don't ask anybody to do something that you wouldn't personally do if you needed to me it's a big deal. I would not ask somebody to clean a bathroom at my restaurant if I wasn't also willing to clean it. I've cleaned the bathrooms at my restaurants. I will do the grunt work if that's what needs to happen. So, but to me, basic leadership, it really boils down to those things. Treating people with respect, you having character and integrity yourself, so that way they respond well to that, and never ask somebody to do something that you wouldn't be willing to do yourself. If you stick to those things, basic leadership is pretty easy at that level, because then people will trust you, they'll believe in you, and then that's when you have to start leveling up your leadership skills. That's when if you're wanting to build a culture, in your business because you have a lot of employees or you're trying to get to some certain level, like I said. But the basic leadership level, to me, is that simple. If you do those three things, people will follow you because they respect you and because they know you're willing to do the things that others might not be willing to do. And you're always going to have, because you have character and integrity and show them respect, they're always going to know that your intentions are always good. And that's what a lot of people want to follow somebody that's they don't want to follow somebody that can just yell and scream or anything. They want somebody that's willing to row the boat with them and lead them to rowing the boat. And then when they get to the point where they can get off the boat because it's rowing so well, they are proud that they can row the boat without that leader anymore. So to me, it just comes down to those few things for basic leadership.